The U.S. men's national team is set to take on Jamaica in the Nations League quarterfinals this Thursday, November 14th, and next Monday, November the 18th. On Thursday, they play in Kingston, Jamaica, and on Monday the 18th, they're playing here in St. Louis, Missouri. In today's video, we're going to take a look at each of these teams and preview the match overall. What do we think is going to bring each team success? Who are some players that we should look out for? And what are some strategies that can be implemented to hopefully bring the U.S. men's national team a win? And we are going to start off with the history between these two countries and their recent form. Overall, the U.S. men's national team has played Jamaica 32 times with an overall record of 19 wins, 3 losses, and 10 draws. And while that overall record is very impressive and very much in favor of the U.S. men's national team, we actually only have a 3-1-6 record when playing in Jamaica. So all of those games that have been played away from home have been very tightly contested, and I would not be surprised if we walk out of this match with a 1-1 or 0-0 draw. The U.S. men's national team is currently riding a 7-game unbeaten streak against Jamaica that's dating back to 2019. But those matches have gotten progressively closer, with our most recent meeting being in the semifinals of the Nations League back in March of 2024, where it took the U.S. men's national team a 95th plus minute own goal to equalize and send that match into extra time. Luckily enough, we were able to rely on a Haji Wright brace, which is him scoring 2 goals in extra time to secure us that win and propel us into the finals of the Nations League. Since that last matchup against Jamaica, they've actually brought in a new manager as well. Steve McLaren has been at the helm of the Jamaica men's national team for the last 4 games, and they've looked fairly strong and fairly disciplined under his leadership. In their last 4 matches, they have 2 wins and 2 draws and have only given up 1 goal. Typically, when a manager comes in, the first thing that he can fix, the first thing that he can put his stamp on, is the defensive shape and structure of the team. That's clearly happening with Jamaica to a certain extent. However, we do need to look at the strength of the quality of competition they've been playing to really put that into perspective. Over the last 4 games, they've played Cuba, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and needless to say, none of those teams have the talent or the dynamic attacking capability that the U.S. men's national team does. However, that cannot be the only thing that we look at. Giving up 1 goal in 4 games is not an easy feat, regardless of who you're playing. You can only play the schedule that's in front of you, and to Jamaica's credit, they've played it very well, which is something the U.S. men's national team has not convincingly done since last Nations League final. As I mentioned earlier, the matchups against the Jamaican national team have gotten progressively closer. Part of that was because the U.S. men's national team was in very poor form under Greg Berhalter, but another part of that was because the Jamaican national team has quite a lot of talent on its roster. Starting off, we need to pay attention to their goalkeeper, Andre Blake. He's been one of the best goalies in MLS and has had a lot of strong showings for Philadelphia Union. At the back, they have a very strong center back who plays for Brentford in the English Premier League, and Ethan Pinnock. He's very strong, very tactically aware, and a very good player overall to anchor them at the back. They also have Bobby De Cordova-Reid, who plays for Leicester in the Championship, Mikel Antonio, who plays for West Ham and is a very physical, very complete striker who can finish, who can hold the ball up. And I think we're very lucky. He's not going to be playing in the first match in Kingston due to a yellow card suspension. And finally, we need to mention Leon Bailey, who is quite possibly Jamaica's most dynamic attacker. He's a very tricky, very smart winger. And while he is off to a bit of a slow start with Aston Villa this year, last season, he finished with 10 goals and 9 assists. Pushing 20 goal contributions in the English Premier League is no small task, and it's not an understatement to say that he is always dangerous. Leon Bailey's inclusion in this lineup is another reason that I have my concerns of our lack of depth at the left back position. I'm confident that Anthony Robinson can hold him down and play a strong match against him, but if he goes out, and we shift Tim Ream to our left back position where he is exposed and slow, Leon Bailey's going to have a field day. So we need to be very careful with that. Another factor that has contributed to our success against Jamaica over the last 10 or 20 years is the fact that Jamaica always seems to implode in upon itself. They've had players like Leon Bailey feuding with the Federation and refusing to play even when called into camp, as well as a lack of discipline historically. Typically, on the defensive side of the ball, the Jamaican team has been disorganized and really susceptible to being broken down fairly easily, especially on the counter. If you're a team that can hold the ball, move the ball around, and has a player that can really pick a lock like Gio Reyna can, you were historically in very good shape. But Steve McLaren seems to have these players playing very organized defensive football, and the U.S. men's national team does not have Gio Reyna in this camp. So we're going to have to find a different way to break them down and score goals. I'm going to use that callback to the Nations League semifinal as another example to that implosion that we are so accustomed to seeing from Jamaica. Once that goal went in, you could see all of their shoulders drop, all of their heads go down, and all of the organization and discipline left their system. After we equalized with that own goal, you could see how much more spread out they got. As soon as Jamaica needed to attack to score a goal to win, all structure left their system. There were a lot of balls played through that Haji Wright could run onto, and he actually put 2 of those balls in just 30 minutes of extra time. The key to winning these games is going to be that the U.S. men's national team capitalizes on those kinds of opportunities early. While Jamaica is likely to bunker the majority of the game, they may try to be the aggressor in Kingston for the first 10 or 15 minutes. If we can put the ball in the back of the net early on, they're going to be forced to come out and play with us. They won't be able to sit back and bunker and hope for that 0-0 draw that's going to carry them into St. Louis. If we fail to score early, they're going to sit back further and further and further, which will continue to make it more and more difficult for us to break them down and score goals in Kingston, which puts a lot of pressure on the U.S. men's national team when they come to St. Louis. If we win that first game in Jamaica, whether it's 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, it doesn't matter. As long as we walk away from Kingston with a win, Jamaica is going to have to come out and play at us in St. Louis. When doing this, that should open up more passing lanes and give us the ability to create and play more through balls, whether it's through possession or on the counter, and that will open up a lot more opportunities for us to put the ball in the back of the net. We will need to dominate the ball and be the aggressor through the midfield. If we can have an organized press and force any defender not named Ethan Penock to play the ball, we should be able to generate a lot of turnovers and create more chances. The Netherlands implemented this strategy against us in the 2022 World Cup, where they forced Walker Zimmerman to play the ball instead of Tim Ream. And if you remember the final result of that match, you'll know that they had a lot of success turning us over because they made Walker play the ball and try and pass through their lines instead of a more accomplished, more comfortable center back like Tim Ream. Ethan Penock is a very good center back, both on the ball and defending. If we can make anybody else in their back line try and play through our pressure, we're going to create some turnovers and hopefully we'll be able to put some balls in the back of the net. All right, guys, that's everything I have for you in terms of a preview for this first match against Jamaica in Kingston. Hopefully that's a decent overview for what the entire series is going to look like. But we will be back after that first match on Thursday to break it down and talk about what we learned and talk about our performance. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know who you think should be in our starting 11 and what you think that final score is going to be come Thursday night. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.